we doing today?
Good. So, I'm curious, how did I mess my hair up last time? Because truthfully, I think something has happened.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a disconnection that doesn't need to be there at all. I mean, you got a nice little flow going on, but it could still be blended. Back here, tapered a little bit. Yeah, we can fix this.
I mostly just want like a low fade, low medium, but not like going up too high.
Keep some of the bulk and blend everything in and then just add some texture.
That's what I want.
Easy.
Easy.
Let's do it.
All right. So where do we even start?
Let's start with the start.
Okay.
I think that's the best. So what happened originally was I had a friend that said to me, Ben, you'd be really good making hair tutorials on YouTube because then you could make a hair product company. That's what my friend said. It was my friend Brian. So I started making some videos. If you look up like Justin Bieber hairstyle tutorial and things like that, those SEO keywords I was going for, you can find those videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not very committed. I did about 4 videos.
This was what, like 2014?
Early 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I did that, and then I was just trying different business ideas. I was trying this business and that business. In the middle of that, I saw your channel, and I was just trying to get stuff to work, and it was working in hindsight better than I thought. However, you had about 80,000 subscribers at the time, and you were just getting like 800 a day or something like that. I read on a website like socialblade.com, I could see how many subscribers you were getting. And I sent you an email and said, hey, I'm thinking of making this hair product company. Would you be up for it? And you emailed me back and said, maybe, let's talk about it.
I remember that, yeah. So that's funny because that's like, we had 2 very different approaches, which I think ended up working out very well.
Yeah.
Because I started YouTube not considering it a career or like having any kind of plan, you know? Like I just knew I liked making videos, and I was like learning about hair and about what I can do with my own hair and was having fun with that. And then I remember getting like my first quote unquote cool haircut and seeing that and being like, wow, like I didn't even know my hair could do this, or like the way that it makes me feel or look is like not what I ever knew could happen. So I was like, that's cool. I bet there's a lot of guys out there who have better hair potential than they realize. And so I kind of just started for the love of it, Ben. That's what you were missing. You were trying to jump straight to products. You were missing the love of it, love of the game.
Maybe I was.
Yeah, I just remember getting an email along those lines of being like, hey, like, have you thought about starting a hair product company? And from my memory, I was like, I've kind of like thought about it, but I have like no idea how to do that. Like, I'm in college right now, or at least at the time I was in college. YouTube is kind of fun. I don't know exactly what I'm doing with it, but I was like, we could try it, essentially.
Yeah.
That was my thought process. And then we met over Skype, I think, for the first time.
So it was like this. Like you were like, so like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I actually haven't made a hair product company before. And you had all these questions for me. So I was doing all this research in between our calls, like figuring out how to like actually do this, because I saw you blowing up and I was like, all right, I think this hair product company will blow up as long as we do it. So then, we were talking, I would research and call you back. And I remember your dad asked for a business plan and I made you a business plan. And then after maybe 6 weeks, you were like, you asked me lots of questions and I answered them sufficiently, I guess. And then you were like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I remember because like, some random guy reaches out to you on the internet, you got to do a little bit of due diligence, you know?
Totally.
So essentially, after our short back and forth, I ended up going out to meet Ben for the first time in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I stayed at your grandmother's house, right?
You did. Although what happened before that was that we went ahead and got 5 different manufacturers to like start competing to make the product. So I had to call all these manufacturers and like figure out how to make this. And like the first time I got a product back, it was this one company, I won't name them. And it was basically just like dirt that you find in your yard.
I remember that call because we were trying to figure out how to actually start making a product. And you, I guess, you were like trying to research labs and like, you were obviously starting from scratch too, trying to figure this all out.
Yeah.
And I think we decided we wanted to do a hair product that is a clay. At the time we were like, let's go with the clay and let's make it like 100% natural.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember you got the samples in and you didn't open them until you sent my sample out to me too.
Ah, yeah.
Because we were gonna open them together over the call. So I think, you know, you did whatever you had to do to get the sample, and then you shipped it from Canada to the UK, where I was living at the time. I got it, and then we were gonna like unbox it together on Skype. And so we opened this product, and I remember you being so visibly like excited, like we just got our sample and opened this product, and it's like rock hard, just like literally like someone scooped a chunk of dirt out from the ground.
Yeah.
I remember we even got knives to try to like chip it out, and we couldn't get it out with a knife. We're like, what is this? And it was a very disappointing moment.
I remember calling the lab back, and they were like, so, like, how'd you like the sample? And I was like, it's terrible. They're like, huh, what would you like to revise? I'm like, if you gave us this, you're so far off that you cannot revise anything.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah, that was the end of that. I also remember that being the moment of like, oh, this might be a little harder than like I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Kind of going into it with naivety. I'm very fond of that memory now, because I feel like we were both in such, like, not realizing, you know, to the full extent of how difficult it actually would become.
Yeah.
And that's such a great representation of like that transition between, hey, let's start like a fun hair product company, to like, oh, like we actually got to figure a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, totally.
But then it was shortly after that I came, and then to Vancouver. I think it was over my summer. It was when I finished, I think, my first year of university.
Yeah.
And came over and stayed in your grandmother's basement, essentially.
Yeah.
For like the next 2 months, and we just grinded it out for like those 2 months.
So at that point, we found better labs, and we already had some pretty good samples, if you recall. Like, you came out, but we were getting ready to launch pre-orders at that time.
Even before I got there? Because I thought we were doing R&D sampling while I was there.
We were, because we did pre-orders something like August, and you must have got there in July or something.
Right.
But like, we already had good labs, like, for sure.
I think we had good labs, but we were still trying to like fine-tune our first
We definitely were
first
fine-tuning
product.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, we made that first formula that was a little bit spongier, and then we almost sold that, and then at the last second we added heat protectant, and it changed a little bit.
That's right.
It got a little stickier, but we liked it better, and we ran with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was at the time called Meraki.
Original by BluMaan. styling
Original by
Meraki.
BluMaan styling Meraki. That's right.
Good mouthful.
Yeah. And what were we doing because I feel like we were working so much for those 2 months.
So we had to figure out like what our marketing language was, what we wanted to call the product, what people cared about. It turned out that everyone cared that their hair stayed up all day. And so we were just working on making products and language around that. Like, how do you make this? And then we had the formula, and then we ran a whole pre-launch sequence where we were shooting videos, and we did a launch, which was very interesting, and there's a whole story around that.
That was another big moment for me, was like actually, because neither of us came into this with a lot of money. I think,
No.
do you remember how much you put in? It's like
About 8,000 Canadian.
Okay, so you put in 6K, I put in 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a lot of money to start a company.
No.
You know, obviously, I was also blessed to have a little bit of an audience at the time, which there's no way this would have happened without it.
Oh, yeah.
But seeing really that response to the pre-orders, it definitely blew my expectations out of the water.
Me too.
And it made me realize, like, wow, like, people really are really into this to a degree that I didn't fully understand before. Because even up until that point, in my mind, this was still like kind of a fun project. We'll see what happens. I wasn't treating it as like a potential career. But after that pre-launch, that kind of like clicked in my brain, where I was like, no, this could be something for real. Do you remember how that actually performed?
Yeah, so we sold like 10,500 units. And some of that was to business distributors, and a lot of it was through the website. So that was way more than we thought. And the other thing, though, that I really remember was the moment we went live and how fast the orders were coming.
Oh, it broke the website.
And it broke the website, and our site crashed, and we were freaking out, and we were blowing our web dev up on the call, like, the site's down, the site's down.
Yeah, because it was like within the first like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, like we were making crazy sales, and the site just dropped.
Right.
Like, no! And that was a really stressful moment. But luckily, we did get the website back up. That summer was really the moment you realized, oh, we have a real business here. And to be honest, I saw your audience from the start, and had a good sense we'd have a real business. I went, this is going to work.
Yeah, I figured it would work. I just I wasn't ready for that kind of like support.
Yeah.
I mean, I was ready for it. I was down with it. I just wasn't expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I remember maybe it was that evening of the pre-orders or the next day, like we went out for like a celebratory dinner.
And that was the first time I'd ever gone to a nice restaurant as an adult.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Pretty much, because my friends were always like, Ben, you'd really like fine dining. And I was like, nah, McDonald's is good for me. And then we went out, and I remember that was like one of the best meals ever. And I was like, wow, I'm going to go fine dining all the time now.
It was just on such a high too, right?
Yeah.
I think it was you, me, Maytab, and Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so really, I mean, that encompasses the start of the BluMaan journey. And at that point, I mean, it was you and me, and then like, when did we start adding to the team?
We got to the point that we were basically shipping the product, and we might have had a little bit of help.
Oh, so before that, actually, because you just reminded me with shipping the product, like we had such a huge delay with that pre-order.
We did.
And that was kind of rough too.
Because we thought it was going to take 2 to 4 months, because the lab said 2 months, the manufacturer said 2 months, and then it took like 7 months or something.
I'm also kind of surprised by how chill people were throughout that time too. Like, I think people, because we did a really good job of keeping people in the loop and like also explaining to people like, this is the first time we've done this, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're figuring out how to do it and keeping people updated on the go. Those pre-orders for the first product definitely took way longer than they were supposed to. Like you said, like 6 or 7 months, right?
And there was some additional drama too. Best drama of that was like right before Christmas, the lab said that they finally did the manufacturing run. They finally did it. And they made however many we ordered, 15,000 or 17,500 pieces of our product. And they made it, and they said it all came out wrong, and it didn't work, and they weren't sure they could get it right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was one of the darkest moments of my entire entrepreneurial career.
Oh my gosh.
Was they said, yeah, you've been delayed 6 months now, and I don't even know. And it was Christmas, and they said, we're about to go on Christmas break, and we can try again after Christmas. And I remember just like sitting in the dark in my bathtub, being like, during Christmas, just being like, oh my God, I've just sold all these products, and we possibly can't even ship
That's
them.
wild. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I remember flying down to LA to try to like shoot content of trying to fix it. And they didn't let me in the manufacturer though. I like flew down overnight. And they're like, yeah, you can't come in here.
So you didn't ask? You just showed up?
I think I just showed up. Yeah.
So then what happened though? They figured it out.
They melted it all down and re-poured it and retried it, and were successful.
Wow.
Right in beginning of January.
I forgot how close it was to being that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So then what?
Well, we shipped it out, and it was well received. The product turned out great. I mean, we knew we had a great formula, and then we shipped it, and people got it, and reviews were very positive. I think I was so excited about it that I told everyone how great it was, and everyone was like, Ben, you're right. It's the greatest thing since like
So
ever.
You kind of convinced them.
Pretty much. I mean, you too, both of us. I think.
Yeah.
We're like
I mean,
so
obviously we
sold on it.
were very excited about
Yeah,
actually getting this thing in people's hands. Seeing the first couple pictures actually show up, especially like at the time in like the Facebook group, you know?
Yeah.
That was really the main place where we could actually see people receiving it.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see like a product that we've made in other people's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very exciting.
Super.
And I think I'm trying to remember how long, because you know we did the pre-launch, but I didn't immediately agree to drop out of college at that point.
Yeah.
Again, that was kind of you being like, "Hey Joe, like, you really need to do this college thing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know, maybe."
Yeah. Because I dropped out of college. I was in college too, and I dropped out.
Oh.
Because we did the pre-orders, and then I dropped out. And then I think I was done for a semester, and I was like, well, I don't know why you're not done.
Honestly, I wasn't sure how my parents were gonna take it. I figured like they've never been big on like you have to go to college, so I figured that they would be pretty okay with it, and they ended up being like just fine from my memory. I think they were like, as long as you're sure like this is, you know, what you want to be able to focus on, go for it. I was like, I think so. Like, try it out.
Yeah.
But it did kind of stem from you planting that seed.
Yeah. I dropped out, and I think I was saying you should do it too. Mm-hmm. I think we can have a great company and focus. And what happened is, as soon as the product shipped, it was extremely demanding to keep up with all the moving pieces. And I brought on one guy to run the company, and he was not good. I'm not going to name him. But then I also was introduced to this guy that apparently was selling Gatsby hair product, which is very popular in like China and stuff.
In Japan.
Yeah, maybe Japan. And he would ship it online and distribute it. And I got introduced to him. And I remember I had a call with him. His name was Colin. And Colin went, wow, you're really good at selling hair products. And I was like, well, yeah, although the logistical side is really not my forte. Do you want to come help me with that? So Colin came on right around the product starting to ship and started managing the logistical side of the company.
So Colin was like our first technical hire.
No, we might have had others. I can't remember, honestly, who our first hire was, technically. Might have been Nana or something.
We've been through a lot of different phases, and I know like when we talk about the past, like you kind of reminisce on the highlights.
Yeah.
We've definitely had some lowlights too, I think, as any company would.
To be honest, a bit of a lowlight was we went out and thought, man, it's so smart to go make these brands. Like this worked so well doing this for BluMaan. Let's go do this with a bunch of other YouTubers.
Yeah.
And then that's going to just work just as well. And which is definitely my idea. But you were very supportive of my idea.
Yeah, I thought it sounded cool, but looking back, we definitely were not in the right place to do that at that time.
No.
We had a lot of stability to add to BluMaan first.
100%, yeah. We had a lot of success and things were going well and BluMaan was going really well. But then there was like focusing on all these other brands and there was also the pomade deal. So we worked with a few other homebrewers to make this pomade. And we worked with this manufacturer.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that we went to a certain manufacturer who we won't name. And they seemed really great to start. However, later on, and partly due to my own poor communication, because I think a number of times I needed to put my foot down and say, enough is enough, this is off track, I'm shutting this whole thing down. I felt like almost like a sunk cost fallacy, like we've done so much work here, I don't want to shut this down.
And they were actually, the formulas they were making were pretty good.
Formulas were awesome.
Yeah.
But the manufacturing and the reliability was terrible. And they shipped it and everyone received defective product.
Right.
And that was a nightmare. We had to do a recall, it was very expensive. And it took us another 1.5 years to even finish the pomade at a new manufacturer.
That's right. Manufacturing, it can be a real pain.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a pretty cool story with that's what is now Fifth Sample, or was Fifth Sample. It's been recently renamed to Hydrating Pomade. Yeah. But the Fifth Sample name kind of came from us working with, I don't remember exactly how we landed on 5, because we didn't work with 5 different people.
No, and not only that, we had way more than 5 samples.
Oh, we definitely had more than 5 samples, yeah.
Way more.
Yeah. We did work with some cool home brewers, and then that's when we started, because remember, there used to be a little bit of a feud between the homebrew community and and BluMaan and other kind of like mainstream products.
Yeah, and the home brewers, just for anyone that doesn't even know who the home brewers are, they're people that make pomades at home. And then there's this sort of large community of guys that make these products at home and then like almost like collectibles and trading cards.
It's very niche kind of underground community of people who are like figuring out how to make their own hair products, and then a bunch of people who are like, and they tended to be like quite heavy pomades, like very kind of shiny, your classic greaser looks and pompadours. But then what came out of that was a couple people who ended up doing really well and actually like creating their own businesses. And then I was always a fan of like that homegrown approach where I could really tell that they were putting a lot of like care and passion into their product. Some of them were better at marketing than others, but either way, most of them, stayed relatively small and were serving their niche community, which I think was what they were wanting to do. I ended up working with a couple of the ones that like turned it into a real business, and then they were some of the first that we worked with when we reformulated our Fifth Sample pomade with them.
Oh, that's how that worked out in the end.
Yeah, we worked with O'Dowd's and Lockhart's.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they were part of that actual, and that tied into the Fifth Sample naming somehow.
Yeah. I remember they were with us in the original part, but I didn't know they were with us at the end.
They helped kind of take the formula that other lab messed up and then get it back to a place that we wanted it to be.
Well, that's great.
And then that also kind of helped the homebrew community not hate us as much.
Yeah, well, because they thought we're some just pretty boy dorks.
Like I actually thought their community was cool.
Me too.
Like, you can dislike the BluMaan community, but like I think your stuff is cool. And then that made a lot of people be like, oh, okay, like maybe we don't have to be as as mean.
Yeah, just like BluMaan's a bunch of junk. We grew the team. We tried some other brands with other influencers. The thing is that a lot of those brands were being made with that manufacturer that was completely unreliable. And in the beginning, they seemed so good, and in the end, they seemed
A little crazy.
completely unusable. And it was unfortunate because we'd started these other things like Chapter Hair, for example. We were going to do that with Jordan and Carlos. And it just turned out that manufacturer was unusable for us. At that point, we realized, man, we've sunk so much money into these other brands. We're just going to have to part ways with it, you know, and ended up passing it on to Jordan and Carlos and saying, you know, we decided to focus on BluMaan and had a period where we began to focus on BluMaan, and that was the main thing. Then I actually came down with a bunch of chronic illnesses all at once. And I got super sick, gained a bunch of weight, and I had to step away for a while.
That was also partially linked to stress working in BluMaan though, right?
I was a workaholic, yeah. And I think that the chronic illnesses that I had were related to workaholism and other things too.
Yeah, I think it ended up being the right thing for you to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, at that point, we had built out the team a little bit more. You know, people in the company were able to kind of put in systems in place.
Yeah.
Where it basically continued to work. But another thing that I guess I'm really grateful for too, and it's worth mentioning again, coming up on these 10 years into this thing is, you know, the first thing that I realized is like how supportive of a community we had who actually, you know, purchased the pre-launch, continue to be supportive to this day, even with me not being like very active on social media anymore. But then outside of that too, so many people in our team actually like really care about the company too. Because we've had a lot of employees now who have been with us for years and still really care about making it big and growing it. And I just wanted to shout out the team because obviously they're not here. They're not usually on camera, but they do a lot of good stuff behind the scenes to keep it going.
They do.
So just, yeah, quick shout out to the BluMaan team. Now that you're better, right? Or would you say you're better?
Better than better.
Better, best you ever been right now?
I would say so. Yeah.
Health-wise?
Yeah.
And you're back playing a role. What do you kind of hope for the future?
Yeah, it's ultimately having our company truly harmonious and just doing really well. You know, creating a company that we can be really proud of on all levels. You know, how we treat each other, treat our team, the success that we're having, treat customers. Hopefully do a lot more charity. That'd be something I'd really like to do as well. I think it's great. With the new rebranding is really good. And I think we have such a good base.
I mean, it's always fun to bring people kind of behind the scenes too, like, you know, the recap that we've just gone through, but also recognizing like, I think there are things that we could be doing better to continue growing faster. And these are things that we're like now trying to solve. You know, cash flow has been a notorious issue for our company. We either have enough money to advertise and market, but then we don't have enough products.
Yeah.
Or we have enough money to buy products and not enough to advertise and market. You know?
Totally.
And that's kind of a cycle that we've been stuck in for a couple of years. We're at the precipice of getting that fixed. I was 21 when we started this, and I think you were 22, right?
Yeah.
I think at the heart, there's a lot of like who we are that has remained the same, but then there's a lot that obviously you've learned over the last 10 years. And I think we're in a good place to really double down and make this thing even bigger.
I think so too. This is that original product that we were talking about. Formerly original by BluMaan Styling Meraki, and now wax fiber. And it's still my favorite product. Worked on it very hard. And today we're going to style my hair using it.
Well, cuts are finished. We're feeling fresh, looking pretty fresh. How you feeling about your cut?
Feeling fresh.
Excellent, me too. Also, just wanted to give a quick shout out to AANUKO. That's where we're getting the haircut at right now in Los Angeles. I'm one of the co-founders of AANUKO, and we sell our BluMaan products here as well. We were cut today by Grace, cutting my hair, Ian cutting your hair. We got some fantastic barbers here. If you're in Los Angeles and if you want a fantastic haircut and a great experience, come check out AANUKO. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you guys, I have no idea when, some other time. Peace.